So we got 4 tires back in the ground. I got a squeaky belt I gotta find. It's not on the variable drive or the separator. I think it's something in the engine compartment I haven't messed with. So no big deal, but we're running again. Sitting here idling. You can hear my pickup running too. So that's kind of annoying, but yeah. We're gonna, I got the variable drive all adjusted up, or the traction drive stuff all adjusted up. So that's all hunky-dory. So it took a little bit. It was a bit of a process. New belts changed the adjustments a lot. We're gonna run this thing over and get the corn head, I hope. But yeah, fired right back up after sitting for a week and a half, torn apart. Well, we're running. Let's go get a corn head. Well, corn head's on. Let's drive it back over and give the corn head a look-see, because yeah, haven't messed with that much yet. Actually, I haven't even rotated the corn head yet, so we'll find out. But first, I guess I should get this all latched here. So these you push in, they lock down, and they just cam lock against that peg. These bottom latches you flip. Let me get the camera where you can see it. It catches right there on that peg, and you just flip the latch up like that, and it's latched. I'll show you on the other side. I might have a little bit more room over there. Okay, like I said, that goes down. It's cammed on right there. This one goes up there over the peg, then you just push that up there, and that's latched down. All I have to do is hook the drive up, and we'll pull over by the shop to do that, because I got to realign a coupler. Okay, corn head made it on. First thing I really need to do is just look over all these chains. I know everything's covered in snow. Jesus, I'll get blow gun out and blow this off, and then I need to go through and just kind of check all the chains. I know I saw, like right there, half a master link is missing. So yeah, need to really check things over here, get that all corrected. And then I need to just kind of take a big crescent wrench or a pipe wrench and rotate this corn head over a few times before we hook it up. Then, as you can see, I got an alignment problem there because I redid these bearings. So I need to get that ahead a little bit. I think we're pretty good up, down, but I got to get this pushed ahead a little bit. Not a big deal. We can play with adjustment there. And yeah, and then we can hook power to it. These things, if I remember correctly from my other Massey cornhead, I think I take one of these bolts off the bottom right there. I can inject cornhead grease in that way. Then there are grease zerks on the fronts of the snapping rolls there on each row. Then I kind of just need to go through and oil all the chains really good, because who knows the last time it rotated. And then there's a square coupler that I gotta get out of my pickup that goes in right here, and there's a pin that goes through it to lock this guy on. Then kind of rotate it through with the combine and make sure everything's hunky-dory. I think I'll probably leave the deck plate. I should probably tighten the deck plates up some, but yeah, don't really care too terribly much. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at on this deal. But I gotta go out to supper here in a second, so it's about time to quit on this deal for the day. But we are making progress. Excellent, excellent progress. And I am still short one bearing on this combine that goes right there. It's a 15/16 shaft there, so bearing is a little tough to come by. Should have one here Monday or Tuesday, I hope. I don't think I'll probably have this thing running until Monday or Tuesday. But progress is progress nonetheless. And we will have this thing in the field real soon. I'm glad to have the corn head back on it. It's looking pretty good. I'm excited to get some corn in it. Back on this little corn head this morning. Just think, at one point in time, this Massey style corn head was actually the premier corn head, because the John Deere like 843 and 643 and 444 hadn't come out yet. This was ahead of John Deere, and John Deere copied a lot of stuff off one of these. But these are really, really solid corn heads, actually. They're just higher maintenance. They're just a lot more grease zerks to hit. They're not quite as easily serviceable. Kind of a convoluted bunch of shafts going on here. Double shaft drive thing going on. Just not quite as great. You know, they got the raised bevel edges here on the deck plates, kind of like the Gleaner and Agco Hugger corn heads, which some people say save more corn. Some people say it butt shells more corn. I'm really not 100%. There's good and bad to that situation, but really this thing, we need to hit grease zerks on the ends of all the gathering chain sprockets. There's a grease zerk on the end of each roll, and then I need to figure out how to get grease in the gearboxes. On my Massey 83 corn head that's on the 860, my cousin drilled and tapped that bolt right there for a grease zerk, so you could put corn head grease on it. These don't have that, so I got to figure out what's going to take to make that happen. And then I have noticed that for some random reason I have a few master links missing on gathering chains. That one there is missing. There's one right there missing, and so I need to kind of put eyes on all the chains on this thing. But other than that, besides like spraying them down with oil, there's really not a whole lot else to do with this thing. I just need to kind of check chain tensions back here as well, make sure everything's intact and tight. But yeah, so not a lot to do here, but we just need to sit and look through it. They're kind of you got a lot of extra chains going on here versus like an 843 John Deere corn head, but they're not bad by any means. That my 83 corn head on my 860, that thing will dig dirt. I mean, if you got down corn, it'll get under it. And really, it doesn't butt shell much corn at all. So I don't know. We'll get the grease gun out and start hitting some zerks here and go from there. I am gonna bust out ye old man well here and just check some things, make sure I'm hitting all the right grease zerks though. Yeah, because I don't remember. We'll see what I gotta remember to service adjustments. No. We'll get back to this. So there you go. You grease the chains every 50 hours. Looks like I got grease zerks on stock rolls, and then grease fittings on some of the shafts along with the bottom gathering chain sprockets. So pretty easy. nothing too wild here. Pull over across the road here to look at my cornhead on this guy. It's an 83, so it's just the same series as that little 33 cornhead I have. And if you look right there, there's a grease circ on the end of that bolt. My cousin drilled and tapped those to take cornhead grease. I was pretty sure that's what it was. So I think we're just gonna pull that bolt out of my other head, and I've got a grease gun tip we can shove in there and hopefully get a bunch of grease in there. We'll see what happens though, but that's kind of the plan. It'd just be nice to get some cornhead grease up in there so I know things are, you know, lubricated. Okay, got that bolt popped out of my 33 cornhead, and there's some grease on it. And if I can get you up in there, there's grease up in that hole. It's hard to show you guys. So I got this long end on my grease gun here. We're gonna shove it up in that hole and put, I don't know, 20-30 pumps of grease up in there. Just make sure it's got cornhead grease. In case anyone was really curious, the cornhead is latched on and latched up. So we're safe under here. You can shove that grease needle up in there and then just give her some grease. Pretty simple. And I'll probably fill it till grease comes squirting out at me, because that's not sealed by any means at the moment. And call it good. Well, we're down to change the oil. That's draining there. I let it run for a while to warm up, and now we're draining oil and changing all the belts here under the hood. There are 1, 2, 3, I think 4 belts here, and then there's actually one behind the reciprocating screen here. So we'll get her done. It's just gonna take a little bit. Fishing belts through. Seems like I've done a lot of it lately and I'm getting tired of it, to be honest. We'll get there. Well, I think, guys, I have made it as far as I can on this without that bearing I'm missing on the back of the machine. I replaced all the belts up under the hood earlier. Cornhead here. That's all greased and oiled up. I greased and oiled all the chains, greased all the grease circs, put cornhead grease in the gearboxes. Got the shaft here shimmed up and pinned on, so that's all latched up. I just bumped the cornhead barely, and it does turn with the machine, but I'm still missing that bearing here on the back. I did take the time and adjust the cylinders here. You take this cover off right there, and I open the back side of the cylinder clearance up to 5/8. In the front, you can adjust from in the cab with that lever there. So we will, you know, get to the field and do more work on that deal. But we're pretty much done. I changed the engine oil, topped off antifreeze. I pretty much ready to go, minus adjusting the belt for the main drive and the auger drive. But I kind of have to wait on those until I have that bearing in. Hopefully that bearing comes in tomorrow or Tuesday. I need to put that cover on right there. That's no big deal, just haven't done it yet. Maybe check the tires one more time, just because I know they're older. We don't really want to blow those out in the field, but I think we're pretty much ready to rock and roll. Need to top off gas, and that's about it. Just kind of, at this point in time, you just have to go to the field and give it a shot, see what happens, because I've touched a lot of stuff on this combine. But with that guys, thanks again for tuning in. Hopefully next video we have this thing in the field. Honestly, maybe I'll kick it in gear and make sure everything's turning right, and then we'll take her to the field. But we've got about 100 acres of my corn to pick clear up north of here, 8 miles, and then Dad's got 70, 2 miles north of the farm, and then we will be back right here at this half section where our farm sits, and we will run this. So I've got about 2.5 days of picking, and then we'll be right here, and we can have this guy out. I'll have my Massey 860 out, and have my gleaner out too, and hopefully we get all 3 of them in the field together side by side, because that would make some good video. But thanks for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment if you got something interesting to say. That's about it. Thanks again for watching. Go drag something out of the weeds and get it running.